The decision that makes people wealthy is so boring. Most people literally cannot stick with it. That's the hook. Not because it's hard to understand, because it doesn't feel like winning. It feels like you're missing out. It feels like other people are living while you're just transferring money into some boring account and pretending that counts as progress. And that right there is why most people never build real wealth. Because the thing that actually works does not feel impressive in real time. It feels slow. It feels invisible. It feels like nothing is happening. And human beings hate that feeling. We want movement. We want proof. We want a sign that we are getting ahead, a hot stock, a fast return, a dramatic level up, a story we can tell, a screenshot we can post. But the boring decision that makes people wealthy usually looks like this. You automatically keep a piece of every paycheck. You send it into boring long-term assets, and then you leave it alone for an uncomfortably long time. That's it. That's the magic trick. Not sexy, not dramatic, not fun at parties, but brutally effective, because wealth is usually not built by making one genius move. It is built by refusing to interrupt a lot of boring right moves. That's the whole game. History proves this over and over. Every era has its exciting distraction. The Nifty 50, the dot-com boom, the housing mania, crypto euphoria, meme stock chaos, AI hype, whatever the current carnival is, and every era teaches the same lesson. Excitement gets attention. Boring gets results. That's what people miss. Most people think wealth is built by finding the one thing that goes vertical. But for regular people, real wealth is usually built by creating a gap, protecting that gap, and quietly compounding that gap for years. The boring decision is this: pay yourself first, automatically, every month. Before life gets to eat the money, that's it. Because life is extremely good at eating any money you leave unattended. Rent eats it, car payments eat it, convenience eats it, comfort eats it, lifestyle inflation eats it. And once money gets eaten by your present, it never gets the chance to build your future. That's why "I'll invest whatever's left at the end of the month" is one of the most expensive lies people tell themselves. There is almost never anything left. Because lifestyle is aggressive. It takes space if you let it. So the boring decision that makes people wealthy is not invest more when you feel inspired. It's decide the amount once, automate it, and make your future take the money first, before your current self gets emotional, before your current self gets tired, before your current self says, "I deserve this." That phrase has murdered more wealth than bad stock picks ever will. Now let's make this concrete. Say someone invests $500 a month. Not once, not when they feel motivated. Every month. At roughly 8% a year, over 10 years, that's around $91,000. Over 20 years, it's around $295,000. Over 30 years, it's around $745,000. Same person, same boring deposit, same boring asset, same boring decision. What changed? Time. That's why boring wins, because compounding is not dramatic. It's stupidly quiet for a long time and then suddenly looks unfair. That's what people don't emotionally grasp. They want compounding to entertain them in year one. It won't. In the beginning, it feels like watching paint dry while your friends post rooftop dinners and lease German cars. You feel behind. You feel ordinary. You feel like your money is doing absolutely nothing. Then 5 years pass, then 10, then 15. And the person who looked boring starts looking strangely calm, less desperate, less reactive, less fragile, less impressed by flashy nonsense. That's when you realize the boring decision wasn't just building money, it was building independence. Because real wealth does not just buy stuff, it buys room. Room to think, room to leave bad jobs, room to survive bad luck, room to not panic. That is what people actually want. They just keep getting distracted by shinier looking versions of success. And that's the emotional problem here. The boring decision makes you look like you're losing before it makes you feel like you're winning. That delay ruins people because they start comparing their quiet future to someone else's loud present. That comparison is deadly. You see someone upgrade their car. You see someone book a trip. You see someone move into a nicer place. You see someone living. And your boring monthly transfer starts feeling stupid, like maybe you're too cautious. Maybe you should loosen up. Maybe you should reward yourself more. Maybe you should do something with your money instead of just slowly building like an accountant with no pulse. That's where people break. Not because the boring plan stopped working, because it stopped feeling emotionally satisfying. And feelings are expensive. This is why the boring decision has to be automatic. Because if it depends on motivation, it's dead. Motivation is weak. Systems are strong. A wealthy person's financial life usually looks way less emotional than people expect. Money comes in. A piece gets captured, it goes to the right place. Again, again, again. That's not sexy, that's structure. And structure beats intensity in almost every area of life, especially money. Now let's talk about what this boring decision is not. It is not. Never enjoy your life. It is not. Live like a monk. It is not. Feel guilty every time you buy something nice. That's fake discipline. And fake discipline usually explodes later into even worse spending. The point is not misery. The point is priority. The boring decision says, my future gets paid first, then I can enjoy what is left. That order changes everything because most people do the reverse. They live first, spend first, upgrade first, comfort first. Then they try to build wealth with the scraps. That almost never works. Not because they are stupid, because scraps do not compound. Consistency compounds. You don't need to be extreme. You need to be earlier than your habits. That's the trick. Catch the money before lifestyle sees it, before your standards quietly rise, before your baseline gets more expensive, before your raise becomes better quality leakage. This is why raises do not make people wealthy by default. Raises only help if part of the raise becomes permanent investing. Otherwise, the raise just becomes a nicer version of being stuck. That is not wealth. That is upgraded pressure. So, the boring decision that makes people wealthy is not just invest. It's increase the automatic capture as your income rises. If you make more, the boring transfer should rise too. Quietly, without negotiation, without drama, without waiting to see how you feel that month. That's how ordinary people build extraordinary outcomes. Not because they are brilliant, because they made the right thing automatic before the wrong thing became normal. And yes, there is a gray area here. If you have toxic debt, that may need priority. If you have no emergency fund, that may need priority. If your life is financially on fire, then your first boring move is not long-term investing. It is stabilization. That still counts. Because stabilization is also boring. And boring still wins. A lot of people want to jump straight to exciting wealth building while their basic structure is weak. Bad move. If one random bill can wipe you out, your first boring decision might need to be cash buffer, not index funds. Fine. Same principle. Protect first, then automate growth. The bigger lesson stays the same. The wealthy outcome usually comes from boring repetition, not emotional intensity. And once your structure is stable, the next level is simple. Keep buying, keep holding, keep ignoring the urge to make your money more interesting. Because interesting money is usually dangerous money. Interesting money gets interrupted. Interesting money gets gambled. Interesting money turns into stories. Boring money turns into wealth. That is why boring wins. The world rewards noise with attention, but it rewards patience with money. Those are not the same reward. And if you chase attention, you usually lose the money. That is why a lot of people look like they are moving faster than you while quietly building nothing. They are performing progress. You are compounding it. Very different thing. And compounding is one of the few forces in life that gets stronger specifically because it looks weak at the start. That's why the boring decision feels so hard psychologically. You are planting oak trees in a world addicted to fireworks. Fireworks get applause. Oak trees change landscapes. So here's the final thought. The boring decision that makes people wealthy is choosing automation over emotion, choosing consistency over excitement, choosing quiet accumulation over visible flexing, choosing to pay your future first, every month for long enough that the math finally starts looking magical. That's it. Nothing glamorous, nothing cinematic, just the same right move repeated so many times that one day people call you lucky, but it wasn't luck. Boring one. Subscribe for more simple, animated finance videos.